The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi everybody, and welcome to the Vertex BD 2023 New Features webinar. The presenters today are Kimmo Honkanen and Matt Wood. I'm Jukka Haho, I'm hosting this webinar today. A few details before we start the presentations. So you have opportunity to ask questions. There's the question box available where you can write your questions during the webinar. We will cover those for about 10 minutes at the end of the webinar. And then at the end of the webinar, you have also possibility to raise hand and ask questions as well. Some of these presentations are in video, so they are displayed in separate windows. You might need to maximize them to see them full screen. Kimmo, please continue with this.
Hello everyone. I'm Kimmo Honkanen from headquarters Tampere, and I'm product owner of BD. Let's start this, and first we go. I take this. Here we go. We have updated our documentation, and let's take a few topics of what's new in Vertex BD 2023. About libraries, we have made some library user interface improvements. Activation is now clear for the user as an administrator view. And one topic of these project libraries, now we have user interface. You can make project specific sheet libraries. So this is very good if you have something special in your project. It doesn't mess up your custom folders. So very useful. Custom folders is fixed, and only for project use you can make own quite easily. About building management part, here is few topics what I want to tell you. Marking tool is now supported also for 2D views. Example here, you can see loose part in here is the red ones, and the manual parts are blue. So it helps you don't need to go anymore only to 3D to see the marking of the parts. One good improvement also for reference drawings, you can now update separate reference drawing. That's now possible. About modeling tool, I pick up one improvement which you have customers has asked a lot. Now it's available that you can add single sheet or single insulation both in architectural or framing side. And something about small improvements. If you select sheet in the footer, you can see dimensions of the sheet. And also when you select the profile, you can see now a little bit more than only the length in this version. And a few years ago, we upgrade the rendering. So the model was quite quick, and after that the selection was quite slow. Now we have improve that selection is also very quick, and there's also select assistant for that purpose. And one good thing, you can make easily videos for your own purposes from with BD, or also very useful when you have some kind of service tickets to support purposes. You can copy paste quite easily to the service desk attachment, so it's easy here to solve the issue. And then we start videos. First video is about framing tools. A few words about the framing tools improvement. There's now possibility and supported that common sheeting tool you can use also in wall framing. It helps and makes your designing easier because you can generate parts, sheeting parts to the sheeting layer separately. You don't need to generate parts to the whole panel. And one pickup also, now it's possible to put to the layer part cutout zone, and then the area what you have added is protected, and it cut out the parts in that area. And there's also one good thing that you can put sheet or framing part as a non-updatable. So let's now go to the video. Here we go.
Hi, thanks for joining us again. In this video, we're going to continue taking a look at the new improvements and revamp we have undertaken within Vertex BD for version 29. In this video, we're going to look at the new improvements we've made to the framing tool. Within Vertex BD v29, you can now use common sheathing methods, also within wall panels. This enables you to generate your sheeting separately to your main wall framing. No longer must you generate your framing and sheeting together. You can add opening offsets here in the last tab. Let's add different offsets to the window. With alignment, try to put the seam edges as best possible to the sheets and your requirements. Now, when we generate the parts, let's see what happens. As you can see, around the window there is the offset we implemented, and we did not change the framing whatsoever as part of this. Let's see what kind of framing tool improvements we have implemented for horizontal structures. Even alignment is a new setting within our framing tools. Let's set spacing to 300, and now when we generate, you can see the framing tool implements the framing changes, and each piece is evenly placed 300 apart from one another. Let's have a look at the line improvements within the framing tool. First, let's add blocking to the floor. Now, select the red one and right-click. Within here, you can copy this as shown. There are also handles here, so you can manipulate and adjust the blocking as required. Let's copy and cut this blocking. Now we have two. Again, you can move and copy the blocking as required, and again can adjust and manipulate these via the adjustment handles. This new feature is supported for our 4 different line features. We also have a new part cutout zone feature. To utilise this, simply select the part cutout zone option, select the framing, and add points for the cutout zone. Each individual layer has to have its own part cutout zone, and these can be customized as required. This feature is an easy way to cut out parts without making a hole within the structure you're working on. We generate the parts, and as you can see, it makes the cutout zone to the framing. This is something that is also supported within the sheathing layer. As you can see, there are again handles for editing the cutout zone, and when we generate the parts, you can see we have our cutout zone as required. This function works within our sheathing and framing tools, but not within the wall mainframe tool or wall sheathing. Let's select a few profiles and then visit common properties for these, where we will remove the options for the profile to be updated. Now, as you can see, we have made those selected parts not updatable, which is visible via their change in marking. If you now change the frame spacing and regenerate parts, you can see these profiles stay the same and do not change. This feature is also available in the framing tool and sheeting tool, and again here you can see our cutout zone we created too. As well as our previously mentioned changes, we have also made new hanger libraries available. As you can see, when we select our profile and select from library, you can now see our new library interface for hangers, including MTech, Simpson hangers, etc. Thanks for watching our videos on what's new within Vertex BD version 29. Stay tuned for more soon.
Okay, that was about framing tools. More detailed information you can find in what's new pages. Let's continue to IFC improvements. We have two videos. First one is about we have renewed our toolkit, so now IFC 4 import is fully supported. IFC is an international construction industry standard for data transfer between different software applications. So now we have support for IFC 4 and newer versions, and also supported for older versions. Let's take a look at a video about IFC import.
Hello, thanks for joining us again. In this video, we're going to continue taking a look at the new improvements and revamp we have undertaken within Vertex BD for version 29. In this video, we're going to look at the IFC 4 system. You can now import files as either facet or solid models. In this first example, we'll import a facet model. Let's move this model slightly so we have space to fit in another. And now let's import our second IFC, this time as a solid model. So now we have both IFCs imported. Let's compare the differences between the two models. As you can see, the facet model is not as accurate, but is still good for utilizing for reference purposes. Its import time frame is also shorter due to the slight less detail included in this IFC type. If you select the IFC from the model tree, it is marked automatically within your active window. Also, if you check the properties of the IFC file, you can check to see if the IFC file has been imported as a facet or a solid model, and what the IFC file schema is too. Thanks for watching this video. Stay tuned for our next.
Okay, that was the IFC 4 import, and next video is about how to utilize pipe IFC. Now in BD 2023, it's possible that when you import the IFC pipe to the model, to make holes to the structures according that. So then you get more accurate places for pipes and you can make the holes to the panels. Remember that imported IFC pipe file have to be done in BD 2023 version, then it's working. Let's go to the video.
Hello, thanks for joining us again. In this video, we're going to continue taking a look at the new improvements and revamp we have undertaken within Vertex BD for version 29. In this video, we're going to look at the IFC pipe utility system. Here, we have imported a pipe IFC into our model. We select the panel they are intersecting and set 3D limits as required, so it's easier to see when working with this individual panel. Within the components section, you have a variety of different types of ducts for IFC flow segment purposes. Here we will demonstrate this round one first. When you move the duct near to the pipe, the software automatically finds the center line of the pipe. Let's add one here. If we require another, you can press the Alt key and you can add another in a different location as displayed. You can also change the tolerances as required per your project. Now let's take a look at a rectangular one. Again, same as before, we can hover over the pipes and the duct will automatically find the center line. Let's place it here, and with the rectangular one, we have grip handle points where we can resize the duct as shown. Now that's completed, you can see the ducting holes for our pipework are correctly placed in relation to our pipe IFC. Another technique we can utilise within the software to add ducting holes with IFC pipes is to select the required pipes. Please note these have to be IFC flow segment type, and then once selected, right click and choose the Add Function to Structure option. We then select the structure we are adding the piping through, and then the software will display the pipe and hole properties for our selection. From here, you can add in the required diameters for each pipe manually and can add in custom tolerances. Once we select OK, as you can see, the holes for our piping are correctly placed as per our changes. These can be seen within the model and also within the panel drawings as shown. If you should require to remove the holes, simply within the Modelling tab, visit the Pipe drop-down, and from within here, click the Remove Utility Holes option, which then will remove them as required. Thanks for watching this video. Stay tuned for our next.
Okay, and I think we continue now with the connector improvements, etc. by Matt Wood. Matt, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Jukka. Okay, so I've been working on the connector library development for the last year, taking in the feedback from the customers I received in the UK, trying to merge some tools also from the American Imperial version into the standard metric version. So let's see what we now have. Let's go to framing parts. So I've got steel building here with some timber trusses, and we can go into modeling, and under the wall panel we have these framing accessories, and there's some new things here. Look, under anchors. So these anchors before were only for our steel users. Now you can add these easily to your projects. Let's go into this one first. So we can take a bottom plate anchor, position it from the stud and maximum distance. Then we can simply pick the panels one by one, or we can do Control A and confirm. Now we have anchors to the bottom plate. Very quick to add. Delete those. Then we have here some sole plate anchors for our timber users. So we can just pick a panel to get the plane. Then we've got these new Cullen and Simpson libraries. And we have these sole plate anchors here. Let's just take that one. And you can just easily add them where you want them to go. They're not part of the panel, they're just loose in the project. Okay, let's keep going. We have some wall straps here for ground floor to first floor, but you could add them for the ground floor as well. Let's pick this panel here. On the first floor, we have a couple of Simpson straps in at the moment. So, okay. And we can just pick that stud. Maybe we pick that middle, that stud for now. Okay. Okay. Then if we keep going to the roof, we can add truss clips now. Very easy. So we go into joint and connection details. Under trusses, there is this truss clip. So we can pick the size that we want, any extra fasteners that we want. Then we can add them by the wall panel. We just do Control A to pick all trusses, confirm. Then we can add or pick our wall panels and confirm, and then just confirm that. Now we have truss clips everywhere. There's a couple of more. Let's take a look at the floor trusses, the floor joists, I should say. Let's find others. We got that joist hangers. The joist hangers now is using the connection browser. So there's lots of new libraries in here. Let's do all for now. So we have, I've removed some old Cullen hangers. There's some new Mytech hangers. There's some Z clips in this library as well. If you're using those eye joists, well, that's working quite well. Okay, let's look at our wall panels for a moment. We have the sheathing now. Let's take, for our steel users in the metric version, I made a change to this frame openings tab. So this truss lintel 2, this one here, these verticals always line up with the diagonal pairs in the middle. So I'll just generate this panel. Go. a lot of feedback about that one, those ripples not lining up. Okay, if we look at, last thing we can check is the panel drawings. There's a new feature now so that we can add this label of the section onto the actual section. So if we pick this section, we can right click and choose add label. Now we have this B here. Look, if you want to change that position, you can easily move that up to here. We will likely develop this feature more in the future to add different types of text to different views. And also these, if you have your sheeting layouts in the templates now, I've made those, the core layer into a 3D reference as it's using this new reference part line property, which makes it like a 0.1 line thickness. Let's just change that to 2D. So I think that the drawings are a lot more clearer now, how they go in relation to the board to the frame. That's working quite nice too. And there's a couple of new dimensions as well for gable panels, which will be available soon. I found the other week. Okay, back to you, Jukka. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Matt. I think it's time for smart and shared models, and I think Kimmo, you will continue.
Yeah, I will. Okay. 2 more videos. In sub-project options, you now have possibility to make smart model and shared models. First, we take a look about the smart model functionality. It's easy to make. Just pick up the objects and right-click and make the smart model about combination what you are needed. And you can add those smart models to different project, or in the same project you can copy also. And it's supported both in architectural or structural parts. So you get the both in the same smart model. And when you add those smart models to the main project, or how you want to say, parts are straight editable in them, so you can use it like another parts. And it's also possible to have example this kind of how can I say sub assemblies, like in the floors, or if you have standard panels or something like that, you can make the sub assemblies as a smart model, and they are going straight to the panel itself. Joints and everything is updated. So and more details and notifications in what's new page. So let's go to the video, so it's easier that way. Let's go smart model. Here we go.
Hi, thanks for joining us today. In this video, we're going to take a look at the new improvements and revamp we have undertaken within Vertex BD for version 29. In this video, we're going to look at our smart model system. Let's take a look at how the smart model system works. First, let's add some walls and create a small interior room with a door. Once we've completed that, we then select the elements we just created. We then right-click and select Smart Model and the Save option. The new Smart Model window will be displayed where we can give an ID and a name to the Smart Model. Once these have been entered, we then select the OK button to save the Smart Model. Within the model tree, you can find the Smart Models you have available within the active project you are working on. Let's add another copy of our Smart Model to the existing project. Go to the Sub-Project drop-down as shown and select the Smart Model option from within here. Find and select the Smart Model as required, then select OK. Once selected, the Smart Model will be ready to place with predefined reference geometry. So we will change the reference point and add it to the project as shown. Now we have two of our Smart Models within our active project. We can hide the upper layers of this project, and you can then see both Smart Models we applied to our ground floor. As you can see, the joints are included with each new Smart Model applied into the active project. This feature helps you to speed up the process of creating projects where you have many of the same rooms, features, etc. Let's add a new object to our existing Smart Model. This will showcase adding new objects to already existing Smart Models and updating them. First, we place our new object into our Smart Model. We then select our existing Smart Model as shown, right-click, select Smart Model from the drop-down, and choose Connect Parts. We then select our newly added object, and then right-click again, and within Smart Model, choose Save Smart Model again. Then as you can see, the second Smart Model we created has not yet been updated, and exists as the original still. At this point, we can leave that Smart Model as is, or we can choose to update that one to match our new updated one. This can be done as shown by selecting the Smart Model and then updating via the Check for Updates option. Let's add some panels to the Smart Model. Firstly, we create and generate our panels as we usually would, and we then repeat the process of connecting these to our Smart Model in the same way we did with our previous object addition. We then save the Smart Model again and re-update the other Smart Model as required also. You can quickly and easily select your Smart Models by selecting the blue cross as shown. Let's have a look at an example with a floor pan. Here we will showcase how you can use this functionality in standardized panels such as subassemblies. First, as shown, we select our required objects for our Smart Model and save these as a new Smart Model, adding the name details as required. Once complete, we select the blue cross to select our newly created Smart Model, which we then open for editing purposes. Our selected Smart Model's reference is shown as a different marking color, making it easy to distinguish. With our Smart Model object selected, we can then change the profiles to another slightly smaller one. We can also use the new Add Part Cutout Zone functionality and apply this to our Smart Model too. To make sure we don't lose our profiles when we generate parts again for our main floor panels, we make sure our profiles as part of our Smart Model are non-updatable. We then save and close and go back to the main floor pan view again. Here we can see the new Smart Model we created. As you can see, if we change the framing spacing, our Smart Model ignores these global changes due to us having previously made sure our Smart Model is non-updatable during its creation. Let's select the Smart Model subassembly we created and change it to another one. We simply select our existing smart model, and then from within the drop-down, we select another as required. The software then replaces our previous subassembly with our new selection and fully updates everything within the flooring panel. Now, as you can see, there are two types of the same subassemblies in our floor panel. Thanks for watching this video. Stay tuned for our next.
Okay, that was about the smart model. And the last video we have new functionality for shared model. What is shared model? You can shorten your designing time by doing example. In this video you can see that we share the project for wall panel designing and another share model for floor designing, and those can be updated to the main model. So this is shorten your designing time. So let's see, it's better way to see the video. It tells more than words. Here we go.
Hi, thanks for joining us again. In this video, we're going to continue taking a look at the new improvements and revamp we have undertaken within Vertex BD for version 29. In this video, we're going to look at our shared model system. Within version 29 of Vertex, you can now share projects much easier. This makes design work quicker and a more seamless process. Firstly, we'll showcase sharing this project for a wall panelization purpose. As you can see, by right-clicking on the project within the project document browser, we select the Share Master Model option. Once we have done that, if we then go to the model tree, you can see the shared models we've created. Here is where all our shared models will be located. Let's make a second shared model, this time for floor panel designing. Now we have separate shared models, one for wall designing purposes and one for floor designing purposes. Let's open up our wall panel project and navigate to the ground floor. Here, we will check the design settings, where we will change our wall panel settings as required. In this case, we will change the maximum length of the panels. Now let's have a look at the model. Let's hide the roof, and we can then select our walls. Now with those selected, let's frame our walls without the siding layer. Once that is completed and we have generated our parts, we then have our completed panels in our shared framing model. We can then close our shared model, and now when we go back to the main project, we can see that within the framing model the panels have been updated. Now let's do the same to our shared model for floor panel designing. We first activate the model pair, and we then create our panel breaks and generate our panels for our floors. We also repeat these for our other floors within our project. Now with that complete, you can see we have our floor panels completed and ready here within our shared model. Now we save our changes and head back into our main project. As you can see, all our panels and parts we created are successfully implemented as per our shared model changes. You can also see our smart models, which were framed as they're required and include the necessary joints and backers. After this, you can now go on to creating your panel drawings from your main model. It is also possible to create these within the shared models if required. However, numbering is main project specific. Let's make some changes to our main model. We will add a few windows to our first floor. First, we add the windows, and we then select the option to check for updates. Within here, we update our wall panel model. Once that is completed, we open the shared model, and we from here right-click the main project and update our master model. This will then send our updates to the master model to complete our window changes. However, we will need to then undertake updating within the main model itself. From here, we update our panels and generate parts again, and as you can see, those changes have been successful. Thanks for watching this video. Stay tuned for our next one.
That was everything.
Okay, thank you, Kimmo. Here was a short summary of the new features. Check out our product documentation. Those new features are explained on our website. It describes the major and minor improvements what the new version contains. And somebody comments that had a sound problem with the video. Maybe that was something to do with the audio devices, but don't worry. We will publish the recording of this webinar after the webinar.
Thank you joining to this webinar. And have a nice, is it evening or whatever it will be.
Okay, thank you very much joining and have a nice day.
Bye.
Goodbye.